Are you serious? Are you serious? We've got breaking news out of Hawaii. I know Guatemala's bad. I know Guatemala's bad. The ash is 3 foot thick in some places. There's over 25 people dead, over 300 people injured, and they expect the death toll to rise. But we got to go to Hawaii, guys, because there's been an eruption. Are you serious? An explosion. So I've decided to go live because we've got breaking information and news happening right now. Get a fresh cup of coffee, and that's what I've got. That is really good. Heidi made the coffee. That might be the best cup of coffee since we've been in Israel. Okay, here we go. I want to say hi to everybody that's gathering in. And thank you for being with us right now, because this is a very vulnerable situation that the people in Hawaii are in. I can see Daughter of God is here, and Elaine, and Jenny, and Brutus, and Ashley, and the housewife until heaven, and Deborah, and everybody else. Welcome to this live edition of what's going on in Hawaii right now of the coming apocalypse. We will be live. We have a scheduled live broadcast to start at 12 noon Eastern, but I decided to go live right now because of what's happening right now in Hawaii. Let me get you up to speed. Of course, first of all, you need to know there was 500 earthquakes in Hawaii yesterday. That's the most ever in a 24-hour period in the history of Hawaii. Now, out of those 500 earthquakes, 110 of those were 2.5 or higher, which is another record, okay? And yet, as I reported yesterday, the crater had no lava lake. Just a lot of ash, debris, and new cracks up there in the crater area, yet no lake, which means the pressure was not coming up through the crater, but it was being held down, and fissures releasing lava. But you knew something was going to break, something had to go, something was going to blow. And so that's exactly what happened a couple hours ago. And it's still happening right now. So let's talk about that as we speak. There was a 5.5 magnitude earthquake that shook the summit of the Hawaii volcano, resulting in an ash plume that reached 8,000 feet, according to the Hawaii County's Civil Defense. The earthquake happened at 3:51 p.m., according to the U.S. Geological Survey, on Sunday afternoon. It did not cause a tsunami threat. Now that's 3:51 p.m. local time in Hawaii, so that would have been late Sunday night on the East Coast. It did not cause a tsunami threat at the time, but Hawaii's civil defense agencies say the fallout will affect the volcano and the entire area, and they've cautioned about the possibility of some major aftershocks. Well, we know that is happening. Matter of fact, there were 500 earthquakes in the summit on the volcano in the last 24-hour period over the weekend, the highest rate ever measured at a summit in the Hawaiian Islands. That was according to Brian Shiro, a supervisory geophysicist at the U.S. Geological Survey in Hawaiian Volcanic Observatory. Now, following the vigorous eruptions from the volcano, nearly a dozen people were left stranded in an area cut off by the lava, and Hawaii authorities have announced that Hawaii's Civil Defense Service officials said they went through the neighborhood to warn the residents this was their last chance to evacuate before their final escape route was cut off by the lava. Some people chose to stay in the area, which now has no power, there's no electricity, no cell phone reception, the landlines are all down, and the water is out. No water, no phone connections, no cell phones, no power. They're on their own without water or power or communications. Now, authorities are planning to airlift some of these people out of the lava area if it spreads further and endangers the dozens or so holdouts. Some say they were standing staying because they really had nowhere else to go or didn't have the financial means to go. Now, 3 people have been evacuated from an isolated part of the Kapoho community, according to the Hawaii Fire Department, and the U.S. Geological Survey was on a routine overflight and saw people on the road in an area cut off by the lava. They stopped to inquire of their situation and then, when asked, airlifted them to a safe place. They had become trapped after trying to move their belongings and had no cell service left. So they have been rescued. But the U.S. Geological Survey said it will not be commenting further on the matter nor providing additional information. Why? Because they don't really know what to say at this point. They're afraid to say what's about to happen. As the smoke continues to rise and the lava continues to spew from fissure number 8, as well as the other fissures, reaching the ocean in 3 different locations, it's expected to reach the ocean in a 4th location. So this is becoming a very serious situation, and there's no end in sight to it. We continue to pray for everybody right now on the Hawaiian Islands. Now, meanwhile, you guys know that there's been the massive explosion of a volcano in Guatemala. The ash is so thick and has buried some of the villages. 25 people are confirmed dead. 300 are injured. They expect that death toll to rise, as it's a very significant, serious situation that we have on our hands right now. It really, really is, folks. And we need to pray for these people that are really going through this. It just really is a very, very serious situation. Okay? Very, very serious situation. I'm going to ask you to pray. This 5.5 quake is really not good. Okay, sorry about typing there at the same time, but I needed to. It's just sad. Okay, it's really sad. Now, let's talk about Guatemala, because it's not any better. The Guatemala volcano eruption kills at least 25 people. The lava flows has hampered rescue efforts. It's very ugly there. One of the Central America's most active volcanoes has erupted in a fiery explosion of ash and molten rock, killing at least 25 people, has injured nearly 300, while blanketing, and I mean blanketing, the nearby villages in a heavy ash. It is horrible for your lung conditions. The death toll rose late Sunday. 18 bodies were found in a community in San Miguel, and then another 7 were located just about a mile or 2 down the road. The Guatemalan volcano is de fuego, Spanish for volcano of fire. Literally exploded shortly before noon local time. Around 4 p.m., the lava began flowing down the side of the mountain, and it's getting uglier by the minute. 3 bodies lay partially buried in an ash-colored debris from the volcano, which is 44 kilometers from Guatemala City. Other videos from local media shows residents walking barefoot, covered in muddy residue. Not everyone was able to get out. I think they ended up buried. So we really don't know how many people are dead, folks. The first count, 25 dead, but it's expected to rise in a very, very sad situation. Guatemala's disaster agency said 3,100 people have been evacuated. Nearby communities, and ash fall from the eruption was affecting an area with a population of 1.7 million people out of the 15 million that are in the nation of Guatemala. Shelters are open for those forced to flee. Israel says that it has delivered food blankets, medicine, according to the foreign ministry, saying he's extending the assistance through the embassy in Guatemala, which is located in Jerusalem. Now today, of course, I was at the U.S. Embassy here in Jerusalem, and we put a video up on that. We actually filmed a video from over there near the location. Then I went actually to the embassy, and we took a picture over there right next to the, right there as I stood up against the embassy wall. This is a good thing for Guatemala because they do have their embassy now in Israel. They're getting immediate aid from the Israelis who are trying to help the victims of this Guatemala volcano. It certainly is a terrible sight and a horrific tragedy taking place right now in Guatemala. So our prayers go out. 25 are dead. Also pray for Hawaii, as of course this massive 5.5 earthquake triggered an eruption of smoke and ash. And if you check the earthquake map, we find that 5.5 earthquake definitely hit the volcano. It was followed by just since the volcano got hit with the 5.5, there was a 3.2 in Alaska in Kodiak Station, 2.7 in Pecos, Texas, 2.6 in Hawaii, 2.7 in Puerto Rico, 4.4 Japan, 4.2 Alaska, 4.9 Indonesia, 4.3 Chile, 2.8 Dominican Republic, 3.6 and a 2.6 both in Kodiak, Alaska, 2.9 Salinas, Texas, Salina, Kansas, a 2.5 Larson Bay, Alaska, 3.5 Medford, Oklahoma. Look at America. 2.6 Redway, California, and a 3.3 Trinidad, California. I mean, everything has to do with America. And of course, Hawaii is the epicenter of the apocalypse. So what can I say? It's a very serious situation. We're praying for everybody in Guatemala and in Hawaii. Now, I'll be back live in about an hour and a half. We'll get you an up-to-date on everything going on around the world. Something biblical is going on with the sign of the second coming of Christ. And we truly need your prayers for all these folks. Get some coffee. Everybody, get some coffee and calm down. Because we're living in the last days. Are you saved?